Alright guys, welcome back to the RCS TUNING channel. If you watched the previous video on the Q&A, you'd know that we said we'd do like a 2 or 3 part series on my partner's MK6 GTI, which I had an unfortunate incident with not long back. It kept leaking oil to begin with, to be fair. So when we started inspecting it, we seen that between the engine and the gearbox, it was actually dripping from the main. So it was like, okay, what's causing this then? So took the gearbox off, took the clutch and stuff out, and seen that the rear main had actually failed. It seems quite a common thing to do with the MK6 GTRs, to be fair. It's quite a lot all over the forums and stuff. So went ahead, bought a new rear main seal, got it all fitted up, happy days. Within a couple 100 miles, done the same thing again, leaking again. So again, took it off, got it all inspected, to find the rear main had failed again. So I was like, well, something's obviously not right here. The first rear main's done like, over 100,000. The next one's done 200 miles. What's going on here? So got a bit more further investigation, seen that actually the crank had a bit more movement in it than what was inside the factory tolerances. So being the state that the car was in at the moment, obviously the gearbox is missing, the drive shaft's out. There's only one engine mount holding the car in at the minute. So it was like, well, the only way to do this nicely really is take the motor out. So engine comes out, upside down, flipped the sun path, flipped everything off the bottom of it to see the rods, the bearings, the caps, etc, etc. So we stripped all them off. There was no actual wear on the actual bearings themselves, so sent the crank out, got investigated by 2 real good friends of mine, to which come back saying the crank's absolutely fine. The main caps and stuff and that, they had a slight bit of wear, nothing too serious. So again, got them checked out. They said, no, they're absolutely fine, mate. I'll be more than happy for you to put them back in. So I replaced the thrust washers. Again, they had wear on them, but nothing too severe. But it's one of them, while it's gone, I might as well do them. And I think there was something like 22 quid from a genuine. So it wasn't worth dabbling into that. So replaced the thrust washers, greased everything back up, put all the crank and that back in, all the main bearings back in, put all the caps on, and then yeah, it then started. Once the motor was out, it was like, right, while it's here, what can we do? How can we improve this while everything's accessible and easy? So we redid the water pump and the belt, because that looked a bit tired, a little bit old, so we redid that. New timing chain, new guides, new rails. Thing to note is, on the timing chain, you've got the tensioner. On the older generation like this one, the EA888 Gen 1 engine, they are oil fed by pressure. So on the first initial startup, obviously there's no oil pressure, therefore it can induce chain slap a little bit and it can wear things a lot easier. They've actually done a revision that's on a spring load, so it'd be a good thing to do if you do need a timing chain on your soon, or you're not 100% sure what you've got, get it checked out and see if you've had the revision fitted. Again, it would just prolong the life of your timing chain and the engine itself. And again, oil pickups in the sump, another common one there just to go wrong. Make sure, if it's done some mileage, drop the sump down, give it a quick clean out, make sure it's all clean and fresh. Again, you don't want oil starvation, it's going to be a massive problem. Another massive issue with these MK6s. Carrying on from that really, yeah, we just started putting the motor back together again, and I was like, right, okay, while we're in this state, let's have a look. So I've got KO4 turbo upgrade, bigger front mount, downpipe still, a nice intake again, APR crossover one, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Christ, Michael, I don't know what else I've done. Oh, new clutch, new fly. So the clutch and flywheel is actually from a MK7 GTI, or MK7R being the manual. So that's a single mass fly, organic clutch plate, and spring-loaded pressure plate. Heavy duty release bearing, which should take up to about 410 foot-pounds of torque. This car won't make that. It will probably be somewhere around the region of 360, 370. So well in the tolerances, but we're over the tolerances of a standard clutch. So that's a good one to go for. RCS, very good company. We've got an account with them if you ever need any help.
It's been a long process, hasn't it?
It has been a long process, but obviously it was a few friends of mine, really good mates, and I can't thank them enough for obviously all the work they've done. And I went up there a few days and offered my services. Not that much help, but it's more company than anything else.
You gave him a spanner or two, didn't you?
Yeah, I gave him a spanner or two, did a few bolts up and took full credit for it, obviously, as you do. So yeah, it's been a long road really, but it's nice to see the cars back. We've done probably 250 miles in it now. So another couple 100 miles to go. end of the month, drop the oil, make sure everything's all good, everything's checking out all fresh again. And then after that, then obviously it's time for tuning. At the minute, I'm just running a base file at the moment to get everything settled in, get all the pressures back up to where it should be with the new turbo, intercooler and everything like that. So then after that, yeah, then we should be able to get it on the dyno, see exactly what it's making now, and then obviously then we can start winding it up. This sort of setup at the minute should be somewhere around the 360, 370 sort of mark. I'll be happy if I say 350. You know, obviously I don't want to stretch the car too much, being obviously everything that's gone on previously with it. I'd rather have a happy, healthy car, slightly underpowered where it should be, or happy to be, rather than have it wound right up, max horsepower, and then stop running into more problems that we occurred before. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been a long old road. Probably been, I think we started this build end of October, something like that.
Yeah. And
I've had it back for week, 10 days, something like that, you know, so just taking it slow and steady at the minute with the occasional little boost in Mexico, just to make sure everything is happy days, and then we'll go from there then really. But yeah, I mean, you know, any question you need on a Mark 6, let me know. These TSIs have the KO3 injectors, which will actually run 400 horsepower. The fuel pump will actually do 400 horsepower as well, unlike the KO4 side of things, where you need to start looking at new buckets, new ends, fuel pump and turn-ups and stuff, whereas the KO3 has actually got a better fuel pump and better injectors from factory. So again, with this, it's just easy bolt-on mods, KO4, intercooler, downpipe, nice air intake, and you're pretty much away to go. So I'll give you a quick show on the engine bay, Mike, just to give you a quick explanation on what's what. So we're supporting the ram air filter at the minute. Again, got to cancel them on the plug. Ram air intake there with the APR crossover pipe there. So the diverter valve on a KO4 is actually sat at the front of the engine bay here, whereas on the KO3 it's actually on the side of the turbo. So you need to get a diverter valve relocation pipe, which brings it from the back of the block round to the front now, which is linked into your intake pipe. You need to change your throttle body plastic pipe. It goes from the throttle body to your intercooler, because that's got a separate spout off the side, which is exactly where your diverter valve would sit. So if you know a mate that's got a KO4 car as factory, like a Mark 6 Golf, Edition 35, Scirocco R, Mark 5, even along them sort of lines there, they'll have that as factory. So TPS will do that, VW will do that, and there's some kits online that you can pick up as well. Yeah, again, you can't really see the turbo from here, but that's there. I bought that from a guy online.
Big intercooler in the front.
Big intercooler in the front
really
again, which you can't see unfortunately, because it's behind the aircon rad and in front of the radiator itself. So you can't really see that, to be fair. But again, you know, I don't know what that was. I think I picked up a Durenza one. It was like 380, 390 quid, but it's got the same core size, same dimensions as what the AirTech has got. So, you know, not everything has to be mega expensive. You know, there is a lot more options out there for the mid-range sort of price. You know, after spending a fortune on this car with the timing chain, clutch and everything else, you know, I didn't want to start throwing thousands and thousands into it, because the car generally isn't worth that. And we never knew if stripping the bottom end apart and rebuilding it again was actually going to fix our problem. But 250 mile in so far, and so far we've got no oil leaks between the block and the gearbox. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, the next video on this one, guys, will probably be
I was about to say, don't spoil it too much. Obviously the people that know this car, it did look slightly different on the outside.
Yeah, so the next time you see this will probably be after it's had a nice little visit to Rapid Graphics. Get some new design liveries on there, because the ones who've seen it before, it's on our Facebook page, used to have all the RCS tuning written up beside with the like Porsche, the acid green and that on there, and the Audi rotors to begin with. But after doing all the engine work and stuff, I wanted to bring the car back out with a little bit of a new feature and a bit of a new look about it. So the graphics have gone, wheels have changed, and the green's now turned into blue. So keep that in mind. Once it comes on Wrap It, again, we'll get Michael to do a nice little video on it of all the new stuff that we've done. And then it'll probably be dyno time, all being well, as long as the car doesn't give me any jip till then. And then we can do some data logins and everything. Oh, that's a good one, actually. Yeah, we'll do some road tests and some data logs.
We might even get this on review, to be fair. Yeah, could review this one. Obviously, you know, being a standard KO3 before is 270, 280. And then obviously with the KO4, I can tell you, give it a quick
price breakdown of what things cost and how much it's going to be and where you're looking, and then we can see exactly where this car is going to sit, as in happy, healthy sort of horsepower wise as well. So again, anyone with a Mark 6 GTI that are looking into doing this, again, there's another video there for you to watch. That'd be interesting for you to see how much things cost, how much they're going to be, and what sort of power figures you're going to be looking at the same sort of time. All right, so instead of me waffling on for now, you know, I'll get Mark to do some nice little cinematic clips in a minute, and if I don't see you then, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. See you in the next one. Cheers, guys.
Dripping on back for the legs, say something. Never tell her back that I never stay running. Sipping on facts, damn, know I got stacks in the lab. Taking bitches straight for another cat. Make shit while I never had shit. Bitch, move, make your motherfucking head split. Hospitalized, never really don't play shit. I mean, never really don't chase it. Dreams to the